Hey everybody, it's Becky. I have a special guest with me here today. I'm going to attempt to see if he'll stay. Normally he's not allowed on the bed when the bed is made, but I wanted him to be in the video if he would stay, so he gets to be on the bedspread today. I am finally back with my answers to my Q&A video. I did a call for questions about, I don't know, 2 months ago, and just now I'm getting around to answering them. So I'm sorry it's taken me so long, but this is that video. Red Toenail 026 says, are your family members and friends supportive of homeschooling? I'm 21 and single, but I've told my parents that I want to homeschool my future children, and they think it's a horrible idea, as well as being a stay-at-home mom. Well, my closest family members have definitely always been supportive. As far as my extended family, if they don't agree with it, they've never said. I do have some cousins that also homeschool, and we don't see each other very often, so I really don't know if they have met with any opposition from anybody in our family. But from my point of view and with my closest family, I have not had anybody say anything negatively to me. And then as far as my friends, again, if they don't agree with it, they've never said anything. And then some of my other friends are homeschoolers as well, so clearly they are okay with it. I've been lucky in that way, and I've heard stories of people that say things like out in the public about people being homeschoolers and things like that. Luckily, that has never happened to me. So I guess I've been blessed in that way that hasn't ever come up. If people have thought badly of me for that, nobody has ever said anything to me about it. But you have to make sure that you are confident in your decision. If you're confident in your decision to be a homeschooler and or a stay-at-home mom, that's what matters. As long as you know that you're doing what's right for your kids, that's all that matters. And you really have to let what people say or think about you roll off your back. I know that's easier said than done, but it really is ultimately your decision, and other people are going to make decisions for their kids that you might not agree with, and the same thing for you. Once you have made the decision to be a homeschooler and or a stay-at-home mom, you have to stand firm in your decision to do that and your belief that it's the right thing, and really let that be your strength when there might be people out there, whether they be family or friends or whoever, that don't agree with your decision. That's really where you need to have that strength in yourself and know that you're doing the right thing and let it roll off your back. Kelly Mama of 4 asks, how did you decide to start a YouTube channel? Is there a secret to getting good deals on places to stay at Disney? And what are your goals for 2016? Oh, I also forgot to ask, what are the natural products you have found and like for your kids, for hair, body wash, lotion, etc.? I'm always on the lookout for new ones and would try anything you recommend. Well, thank you. Well, the first question was, how did I decide to start a YouTube channel? It was kind of an accident. I think it was around 2012 when all the big couponing craze had hit, and there was that extreme couponing television show on TLC. And I have been, or more particularly had been, really into couponing for years, not just after that show. I was already doing a lot of those things that were being shown on the television shows. But when the show came out, I thought, well, I could make a channel about that because I'm really good at saving money. I'm really good at using coupons and things like that. And so initially, that's how my channel started. And I made a couple videos, and I still here and there will talk about ways to save money on different things. But it didn't last very long because as I started eating more and more organically with our family, not to say you can't save money on organic foods, but it's a lot more difficult. It's not usually something you're going to want to stockpile because, number one, it's still usually not that great of a deal that you're going to want to go out and get 50 boxes of something. And a lot of more natural foods, some of them have less of a shelf life, so you have to be a little bit more careful about keeping things long term in storage. So I still coupon. The bulk of what I do is just a coupon if I have it on a natural item, but I'm able to still kind of somewhat stockpile on personal care, so like toilet paper, paper towels, razors, and things like that. But after we started eating more organic foods and things like that, I found less and less to talk about. And I thought, well, nobody's watching anyway. There's so many other people out there talking about couponing. Who cares? So I stopped making videos, and I really missed it. I kept telling my husband, I really miss making videos. And he said, well, do it. And I was like, what am I going to talk about? Right around that same time was when we decided to start homeschooling. So that, I think, was really what got me back into making videos, was sharing our homeschool room tour and our IKEA desks that we got for the homeschool. And then like curriculum things here and there. And then that kind of snowballed into all the other things I talk about. As time has gone on, it's become more and more of a thing where I'm given more opportunities to try things out or work with different companies, and I still have a very small channel, but it's gotten to the point now where I'm able to work a little bit with companies, which is exciting. I get to pick and choose kind of which companies I want to work with. I'm able to have access to more things to try out, to review, and things like that. So in that way, it has become an accidental job, but it is still very much my hobby and my creative outlet, and something that I love to spend my time on that's a reflection of me. I've said so many times before, my channel really is my creation start to finish. All these things that I have learned over the process have really been fun for me and challenging, and something I did not know that I was going to love so much. And so that's a very long way of saying that's kind of how my channel started. Our other question is the secret to getting good deals on places to stay at Disney. If you mean just specifically a Disney resort, I always tell anybody who's thinking about going to Disney, go to mousesavers.com and sign up for their free newsletter. They send out a free newsletter every 15th of the month to your email, and that email will tell you everything you need to know about upcoming coupons and promotions that are coming up for the next season. It'll tell you other things too, like closures for refurbishment and things like that. Well, that newsletter really helps you with that. Other than that, there's always the advantage of going in non-peak times. There's certain times of the year when Disney is considered peak times, and that's usually in the summer or around some kind of a holiday like spring break or something like that, where a lot of people are off school. Those are going to be more peak times. Christmas time is a peak time, so that things are more expensive then. If you go off peak times, then you'll save some money there on your hotel as well. And that is all information, again, that you can find on the Mouse Savers website. My goals for 2016, I talked about this a little bit in my How to Waste Your Motherhood video, and I can link it below. I have a list of things I need to do, like a checklist of like spring clean the kitchen, which I already did, or repaint the hallway, things like that. I always have a list like that going. But my main goals for 2016 have been to spend more conscious time and effort with my family and my kids, making sure that I am unplugging as much as possible, simplifying my life as much as possible, which is hard, but to make sure that we're spending more time together, quality time together, where we are actually engaged and talking and doing things together. That is number one. Maintaining my weight loss, but then taking my body to the next level. So after you lose a certain amount of weight, then it becomes toning up and strength training and things like that. I've been battling some health issues, so it's made it a little bit more difficult. But I'm trying to work around that and really take this fitness journey as an actual journey, not just I want to lose weight and then be on a diet and be done. I really want to think about this as a marathon and not a sprint, which comes in handy when you do have setbacks like an injury or some kind of a sickness or whatever. Thinking of it that way really helps you to realize that you can get better and you can work around different obstacles that are going to come your way, and they're going to come your way as time goes on, as things happen and your life changes and your body changes and your health changes. So really that has been a big focus of my year this year as well. Natural products for the kids. I don't have anything to show you really. I can just tell you a couple things that we use. I purchased the Whole Foods bar soaps that they make in-house. We've purchased those quite a bit for the girls, just for their baths and showers. We also use the Burt's Bees Baby Bee Liquid Body Wash. It's 99.9% natural. Talked about that before. It gets a really good safety rating from the EWG website. We love the Acure Organic Castile Liquid Hand Soap that I get at Vitacost, and it's really watery, but you can mix it with water and use it in like the foaming soap dispensers, so we use that a lot for hand wash. Lotion, a lot of times we just stick with coconut oil. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's really good for your skin, and it's just an all-over great product, and the scent what little scent that it does have goes away, and so for me, I can still use any perfume that I want, but it's really good for the girl's skin as well, especially if you have eczema. So I just think coconut oil is always a good way to go. Sarah Nightingale 2 says, how do you keep your home organized? Any tips or suggestions? And what are good Bible devotions for toddlers and preschoolers? As far as keeping your home organized, my main tip is just to try to stay on top of things. Once you let things slide enough, it's really hard to catch up, and there really is then you really are just playing catch up and trying to get back to the point where you were, and it's really hard to do that. And so trying to stay on top of things, trying to make sure that every day you at least do the basic things to keep your home functioning. So laundry, unloading and reloading the dishwasher, wiping down the tables, vacuuming the floors, things like that, the basic things. Try not to let those things slide, no matter what kind of day you're having. So that's my main tip. And again, it's easier said than done. I have days, weeks when I get behind and I'm just like running around like crazy. But I think that ultimately really is going to help you. And to make a list that you prioritize. I talk about lists a lot too. My to-do list keeps me focused because I am very frazzled. I could very easily get very frazzled and distracted if I don't have a list. So that really helps me as well. As far as good Bible devotions for toddlers and preschoolers, I've actually done a couple videos about this, and I will link them down below if you want to watch them. V Love Stationery says, if you could travel back in time, what year would you choose to visit for a day? What would you do there, and who would you want to see? Well, I feel bad because my first answer was not the one that I wished would have been my first answer. My first answer was the 40s because of the style and the music and like old Hollywood and the glamorous hair. I still love 40s music. I love Glenn Miller and Artie Shaw and all those types of things. And so I would love that time period. I know it was bad because of the war, so that's bad. But as far as like the style and things like that, I think that was what I would like, and the music. But I wish that I would have said back in Jesus' day when he was here on earth. Would I have loved the conveniences of the world back then? No. And I would not have liked, you know, the situation with that. But I just can't imagine how awesome it would have been for those people that lived back then to be able to see him in person and talk to him and hear his voice and know what he really looked like and see all the things that he did for people. I think that would be incredible. So those are my two answers. Sarah Stafford says, what are your goals for 2016? I already answered that one. What do you do for your personal quiet times? Have you read any good books or hope to read any books soon? Well, as far as quiet time goes, any time that I get to myself, I usually spend exercising or working on stuff for YouTube, working on stuff for homeschool, cleaning. I mean, I like to make lists. Lists are really fun for me. Even if it's a list about things I have to do, I still really like lists, and I find joy and peace in that process. So that's really the only downtime I have is exercising, or once the kids go to bed if I'm working on stuff, you know, for YouTube or whatever. But I don't read books much. Every once in a while I do. I have a book that I started 2 years ago that I still have not finished, and I have a new one I need to read for a review, and I haven't even opened the front cover yet. I don't have time to sit down and read, and even if I did have time, I don't know, there's something about it. I never have really enjoyed reading. I love books, which is ironic. I love going to the bookstore and looking at books, and I love buying my kids books. But I do not really personally enjoy sitting down and reading a novel. And I have not read one that wasn't really a self-help novel probably in the last 10 years. I wish I had a better answer for you, Sarah. She also asks, she's watched my Disney videos and would love a basics of planning video. We've never been and are looking to take our kids sometime in the near future and don't even know where to start. On or off property, drive or fly, meal plan or no meal plan. Talking about Disney is opening a can of worms that would make this video 10 years long, but I will very briefly say, on or off property, definitely on. Fly or drive, it kind of depends on where you live. We've done both, and we actually have found over the years we actually prefer to drive. Cost-wise, it's cheaper. Yeah, you lose a little bit of your trip in the drive time, but it's nice because you're in your own car, you have your own stuff, you can take what you want, you don't have to worry about like weight limitations or how many ounces something is. And when you get down there, you don't have to worry about taking the Disney transportation or renting a car like we used to. When we flew, we would rent a car and drive around Disney property that way. I've never been a big fan of the Disney bus system. So even when we flew, we always would rent a car when we got down there. So if you drive, you don't have that issue. So there's a lot of reasons why we have loved driving. That's not to say we would not ever fly again, but I don't really see any need to now that I've kind of gotten spoiled with being able to pack whatever I want. I would still say drive. Meal plan or no meal plan, by the time this video posts, hopefully we'll be back from Disney, and I actually am planning on making a video about meal plan versus no meal plan, because we have always gotten the Disney dining plan, and then like for the last 10 years, but this year is going to be the first year we're not having it. And I've had several other people ask me, do I think it's worth it? And so that's kind of something we're going to figure out this year. And so by the time this video airs, like I said, that video might already be up. Low Ben asks, how are you funding your retirement? Stay-at-home moms never address this, and I'd love ideas. Well, I am ashamed to say that I currently am not. I know if you do not have an employer where you can contribute to a 401k, you can go to probably any bank and get an IRA account for you personally. And instead of getting something taken out of a paycheck, since you don't have a paycheck as a stay-at-home mom, you would contribute a certain amount that they would put into that account for you, and you get the same benefits of that as you would a 401k. So you don't pay taxes on that money unless you take it out before it matures. Then you have a penalty and things like that. But otherwise, you just put that money in there and it's not taxed, and so you get the same benefits of building up tax-free money, except you do not have obviously the employer matching any certain percentage or contribution. So that is an option. That's something that I need to look into. I really do need to look into that at some point. It's just one of those things that you get kind of, you don't do it for long enough, and so then you really just kind of forget about it. But if you're interested in it, I would just definitely call any bank in your area and they can really help you to figure out what your options are. Christine Wu says that she is a Christian. She's been a Christian for 4 years, having trouble reading the Bible daily and following God's words as I feel tired and stressed to do so. I've asked myself many times what caused this problem, but still do not have a firm answer. I want to fix this problem, but don't know where to start. Could you please share your or others' experiences with me? Thank you so much and wish you and your family a happy, blessed year. She did say the good news is she started to read the Bible on a daily basis. It is hard sometimes, and I've talked a lot about this on my channel too, about keeping God in your daily life and making him a part of the conversation. And just like you would any family member, to bring him up and talk about him, whether you have kids or not. But if you do have kids, you know, we always make God and Jesus a topic of conversation or bring them up in different situations. And I think as just you as a person, that's important too, to try to see your day as through God's perspective, and try to see the little good things that happen to you as blessings, and notice him in your life. Look for him. Sometimes you have to look, and it's not always going to be like staring you right in the face. You sometimes have to look. But the more you start to look, the more you'll start to see him, and it makes it easier, and it kind of builds momentum that you're more easily able to see as time goes on all that God gives you every day. If you're having trouble reading the Bible every day, a good way to keep him in your life is some kind of a quick devotional, whether that be a book or an app. There's so many really great apps now that will alert you on your phone when it's time to read it, and you can just take that couple minutes to read the Bible verse, and sometimes they'll have a trivia question. So that is, again, another way to keep him in your life and make it easier for you to do that. Praise Dancing Mom asks, how do you handle criticism of your choice to homeschool? Well, that kind of goes back to the first question I answered. I have not really had anybody say anything to me about it, but if they did, I would just have to say, you know, it's our choice, and you do what's right for your children, and I will do what I feel is right for my children, and just not judge anybody about it. That's really my best suggestion about really any decision you make in your life. Once you've made a decision and you know it's the right thing, to really just keep going back to that and focusing on that. When other people are going to tell you that your decision is wrong, use your belief that it's right to really give you the strength to just ignore them, let it roll off your back, and keep going on. So those are the answers to the question and answer video. I like doing these with you guys, so if you have questions anytime, just let me know and I'll keep track of them, and as I get enough, I can make another Q&A video, whether it's about Disney or anything else. I really like making them, and it's fun. It's a fun way for me to interact with you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.